Imagine a world where your credit card company decides what games you can buy on Steam. That unthinkable future just arrived. Valve, known for its hands-off approach, has added a new rule that would change PC gaming forever.
What the hell is this list, bro? What the hell? Oh,
Not
okay.
by law, but by the powers of payment processors like Visa and MasterCard. Starting today, Valve updated its What You Shouldn't Publish on Steam section to include
Bro, how violence or discrimination against groups of people based on ethnicity, religion, gender, disability, or sexual orientation. So basically, this just wiped out half of any like historical games. Like, doesn't Ubisoft lose half of them now too? Because there's a bunch of like, like there's technically small little racist things that happen because like there's slaves in some of those games. Not that they dwell on it, but like it's there. And in like other games too, it's like how like okay, content that exploits children anyway, that makes sense. But isn't Roblox? Well, I guess Roblox isn't on Steam. Content that is patently offensive or intended to shock or disgust viewers. So no more shock horror. Content that violates the laws of any jurisdiction in which it will be available. Libious are definitely statements. Adult, that's fair, I guess. Because that's like defamatory statements. You can't make a game that lies. I know they've had to like have a bunch of issues with that before. Adult content that isn't appropriately labeled or age gated. That's fair. I think that rule was there before though too. Nude or sexually explicit images of real people. Oh, okay, they're doing that for like the AI porn, like of real people, like celebrities and stuff. That makes sense. I get the first one, but it's too ambiguous that I feel like it's going to get abused by certain things. I don't know. Because it's like, okay, well then what about historical, games that delve into like when there was discrimination and when there was this and that? Like that's what just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. That seems weird.
content that may violate the rules set forth by Steam's payment process.
Wait, they said they're no more blockchain games.
And related card networks and banks
That's crazy.
or internet network providers. In particular, certain kinds of adult-only content. This seemingly vague line has already been used, as SteamDB has reported the removal of a bunch of games, mainly the ones with incest themes. While Valve hasn't explicitly named the names,
No, bro. No. You're telling me I won't have any more of my incest hentai games, bro? What the fuck? Dude, now I'm gonna have to go to Cornhub for just incest, bro. What the hell? Like, dude, like, who's complaining about my incest games, bro? I love playing those games. That's a joke. I don't really care about the issue, but that's kind of weird, though. I guess, like, because of America and Europe, I guess, because it is a Western, but, like, and incest is legal, but it's like, that's such a weird thing since it's not real life, but whatever.
of the reason for
Not
this
that I
happening,
care.
unconfirmed reports and industry patterns strongly point to major players like PayPal, Visa, and
I love
MasterCard,
PayPal.
the most popular
Controversial
payment
opinion.
methods on Steam. There were even
So
unconfirmed
easy.
rumors about PayPal's temporary unavailability on Steam pointing to this, but I couldn't find anything that confirmed this was directly tied to PayPal.
Oh yeah, that happened to me. I remember that.
Group Collective Show, a campaign for women, seems to be the ones mainly responsible, having released—
Who would have guessed it's a Karen, bro? Every issue stems from Karens and frickin' incels, bro. Every goddamn problem.
several articles and open letters to these payment processors making claims about the games on Steam just within the last few days. So as these companies took note of this letter and told Valve they were going to leave the platform, Valve was left with adding this rule and giving these payment companies a bunch of power over Steam. This new rule is important because it's not just a small tweak, it's a fundamental change.
Yeah, so I didn't know this was happening with Steam. I guess it's like brand new. Like maybe it happened like a month ago or this month. But I did know that a lot of these payment, like these banks and everything, and like, payment processors, all that stuff, right? I knew they were doing this to a lot of other websites because of ads, because they want to, keep it safe for brand. But what doesn't make sense to me, how does that apply to Steam? Because with Steam, they're advertising other games that are on that platform. So other games aren't going to affect how those games do on that platform. Like, I've never heard of someone being like, oh no, there's this incest game with racism on my Steam platform. Oh, I can't play Steam anymore. Time to go to Epic Games. Like, I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
To Steam, as now these payment processors or other companies like internet providers have direct influence on Steam and what games are allowed on the platform. For many, this is a big worry. If payment companies can decide what adult content is allowed, people are asking, what stops them from deciding about other things next? This is where we get into a slippery slope, where one small change could lead to much bigger, unwanted changes down the road. Now, it's important to understand that Valve is likely left with very few choices in this situation, as not listening to the payment processors would have led to them removing their services from the platform, which is what many have reported happened already by PayPal shortly before this rule was added. Now, to truly understand how big this change is, we need to look at Steam's past. This isn't a—
You know what's crazy? Black Mecca, I think is what this game's called. I actually bought this game recently for like $1 or whatever because it was on sale. I still need to play that game. I still haven't gotten the chance.
Adult games taken down. It's about a complete reversal of Valve's long-standing hands-off approach to moderation. Before, Steam allowed a lot of games on the platform, as long as it wasn't outright illegal. The main times Valve would take down a game were if it had some malware inside, broke one of the very few Valve rules, or a specific government requested to get it removed.
Which is fair, because it's like, okay, is Steam really going to fight a government on it and lose, the market in that area? And then, okay, you can't have, freaking malware or whatever, or anything that's harmful to your consumers, hidden in a game like a Trojan horse. But what does this have to do with the other new rules? Like, I feel like the rules before were fine.
Valve's position with moderation and the relaxed rules led to Steam having a large number of adult games and sometimes other controversial content. This position Valve had,
which I think is fine though. Like, I really do. I get it. People, they love and hate controversy, but it's like, just let people make what they want to make, as long as they're not hurting people. Like, obviously, if someone's killing people and then using those images or videos in that game for shock value or whatever, like, yeah, we can't be having that, or you know what I'm saying? But, or like, the game is like exposing real people or something, or defaming them.
Brought them a bunch of complaints. In 2018, Steam faced criticism for a hate group problem due to lax enforcement against hate speech.
I've never heard of this.
But it shows how Valve generally handled moderating across the entire platform. In December 2022, US Senator Maggie Hassan even questioned Valve's efforts regarding Nazism, white supremacy, and misogyny on the platform. In late 2024, ADL made a report about how Steam had an extremism and anti-Semitism problem.
I'm gonna be honest with you, these problems don't exist. Like, they are so minute. Like, these are like the 0.1% of the Steam player base. Like, this just does not matter. Like, this is stupid. We're adding all these rules for a 0.1%.
Which led to another US Senator, Mark Warner, asking Valve to do something or face further scrutiny by the—
Also, wait, so you're telling me that senators give a shit about this, but then there's stuff like, for example, like the fire that happened in freaking California, or like the flood in Texas and all this stuff. And I know the flood in Texas isn't necessarily anybody's fault, but I'm just making a point that, like, you're not doing things to prevent these in the future, or like, change things, or, maybe work on more consumer safety laws for Steam, or online gaming and online, use in general. No, we're worried about hate speech and someone saying "Hail Hitler." That's what we're worried about, really. Not like about, people getting scammed, or people, like all this other stuff that happens. Like, we're worried about that, really. Like, I don't know. That's just some goofy shit.
US government. But Valve usually just ignored these complaints and requests for stronger
As they
moderation.
should.
As long as nothing was outright illegal or broke their existing rules, they generally wouldn't intervene with the content on their platform. So now, payment processors are no longer just handling your transactions, they're becoming content gatekeepers with massive power over what can be bought and sold online.
I know this guy doesn't know, or maybe he does, I don't know, but he's not mentioning it. They've been doing this forever. Like on like any website you go on, it's not just because of advertisers, it's because the payment processors don't like whatever they're putting on the website and don't like, these problematic things and want to censor them so that more advertisers are willing to come in. Honestly, advertisers don't really care either way. They just care what's popular. But I'm just saying, like, in the general sense.
The thing is, this isn't just a Steam issue, this is happening all over, showing a clear pattern. We've seen major hits in Japan's anime and manga market. For example, platforms like Soruga and Manga Library Z were forced to remove adult content or even shut down because payment processors demanded it.
Yeah, I saw that video on this. There was maybe it was this guy. I don't know. I watched someone talk about that. That was when I first found out about the how the payment processors controlled websites is through those two sites he just mentioned. Someone made a video on those two sites because it happened around the same time.
Another Japanese platform, DL Site, even tried to fight back, temporarily blocking Visa and MasterCard to keep its adult content available.
I remember that.
Just this year, payment processors in Japan started holding back money from adult game creators on Steam. This was such a big deal that it led to an official investigation by the Japanese government into these payment companies and their practices.
As it should. That's what America should be doing too, and the UK.
It's not just Japan either. OnlyFans in 2021 famously announced that they would ban all sexual content because of pressure from their payment processors.
Yeah, good luck on making any money then.
Until they reversed the decision.
Patreon
too.
That happened quick, didn't it? Huh? See, Patreon could get away with that. I'm going to be honest with you.
Has faced similar issues in the past. So, as we're seeing with Steam's new rule, this isn't just Valve's problem.
Yep.
It's a widespread issue showing how these powerful payment companies like Visa and MasterCard are deciding what gets sold and what doesn't across the internet. The thing is, now we're seeing this first step.
See, literally power to the banks, bro. It's like that Revenge of the Sith when the Emperor is like, long live the banks! Like, it's literally that.
Payment processors can now influence certain kinds of adult-only content. The real question is, where does it stop? This is the big concern for many people. If these powerful companies can block one type of content today, what prevents them from moving on to other types tomorrow? Could it be games that talk about different political topics? What about games that tell stories some people might find controversial?
That's what I was talking about. Like, you can't do that because then this minimizes storytelling, and I just hate when there's more rules applied that aren't for actual safety reasons, because you're just censoring life. Like, life is gritty, life sucks, shitty things happen, rape happens, murder happens, suicide, all this stuff happens, right? You can't just be like, oh, well, doesn't exist, racism doesn't exist, this doesn't exist. And obviously racism isn't really a problem, at least in America, from the people I've met. Like, you don't really meet racist people anymore. Obviously, there's people that are going to stereotype, and that is technically a form of racism, but usually people aren't like, oh, he's Asian, I hate him because he's Asian, or he's black, I hate him because he's black. It's usually like, oh, well, he dresses this way, and he's that race, you know what I mean, or she, or whoever. Oh, or like, oh, she has a bob, she's a Karen. Oh, fucking Karens, bro. It's every freaking time. And then she just might be a woman with a bob. You never know. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's also just kind of human nature, though, is to categorize things. Does that make it right? No. But I'm just saying, like, the real life isn't sunshine and rainbows. I'm sorry.
Challenging. Could they even push for changes on games that don't fit certain beliefs, even if they're perfectly legal? The door is now wide open. Before, Steam decided, but with Valve's new rule, these payment processing companies and others like internet providers now have a huge say for what's allowed on Steam. This means
Bro, Dune Awakening is getting a lot of advertisement out of this video.
they could in the future decide what games you buy, not based on laws, but on their rules.
What's up,
This is
Baldy?
a big deal because it takes away control from Valve and gives it to these companies whose main job isn't about games or art, but about money
It'd be funny if this is AI.
and transaction. Now, I've already seen a few different suggestions from different Steam users, including exploring different payment options, like maybe crypto, or even the possibility of Valve developing its own payment system.
See, that would, dude, if Valve actually made its own, Valve Pay actually doesn't even sound bad either. If they did that, then they would make more money than they already did, and they wouldn't have to pay a cut to these payment providers. That's always a good way of doing it too, because if this isn't just about like payment providers, but if you are ever in a business scenario and someone tries to twist your arm, just do whatever they're doing for you in-house.
Think of a Valve Pay to get around these restrictions entirely. Valve's new rule, which is directly influenced by powerful payment processors, card companies, banks, and internet providers, marks a big moment for the platform. What do you think Valve should do?
The only problem with Valve Pay would be I don't know how if they would be able to get Visa and MasterCard, etc., to let them connect their card to the banks. But I don't really know how that works. Maybe that doesn't matter, and it's just connect the bank routing number and everything, and you're good. I don't know. I don't know that much about that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother thing.
Payment processors have this much power.
But yeah, that was a really good video. Make sure you subscribe to Water CS2. You know, it's a very good video. Like it, you know, give it a little sucky suck. It only has 95k views after a day, and it's like very good. I think it's because he has it under Black Mesa instead of leaving this blank. He probably should have left this blank since it's a what's the word, like a video essay. But anyways, really good video. Like and subscribe to me, to Water CS2. Tell me what you guys thought about the video, what you guys think about Steam doing this, and like, you know, obviously payment processors and all that stuff, like them trying to twist the arms of these websites and different companies and businesses to get what they want. You know, I just don't think it's right, and I really don't like censorship. But you guys let me know in the comments. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.